Hello everyone, Kenty Tiger here with Bengali Engineering and Play. We are back in The Last Caretaker. So The Last Caretaker is actually in demo version right now. It will be released on the 6th of November. And I admit I can barely wait. So that's 7 days away from the time I'm videoing here. So hopefully all things are good. I apologize for the last episodes. I was troubleshooting and figured out. So I do have a video camera on this particular machine, and for whatever reason, it had defaulted to those microphones, which are not terrible, but adequate for video conferencing, but clearly not the quality of my normal mic. So I think I have fixed that. I also discovered I think I'm going to have to lower the volume levels here on the game. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So audio here. So to get into that, of course, was escape and then in. So we're gonna lower the master volume to like 85%, which I think is we'll have to try it. So what I was discovering, because of the distance from me to the unfortunately camera microphone, I noticed that my voice really does drop off. So depending on where I'm facing, where I'm looking, how close I am to the screen, because I tend to get my face totally in the screen sometimes. So whoops. So I apologize for the audio of the past video. So hopefully this will be a bit better. Hope. I hope. I hope. So we'll go with that. G to apply over here, or mouse click, and do an escape, and then another escape, and we can look. I've got a slight list over to port. Not sure what that was about. When I first rezzed in here, basically the entire superstructure of the ship was missing. I thought it was a bug. I was going to have to reload and maybe start all over again. Been there, done that. So I don't know. Don't know what happened there. I think the blinky lights are really about video settings. So I did mess around with video settings a bit this morning. Reloaded graphics drivers, tried to go through all the stuff. So the CPU on this machine is older. So this machine has been in service for quite a while. The video card is a 3070 Ti, which is pretty decent. It's not that old. So this is, I hate to say, the only game that I have had video related problems with. So I don't know. I put it to Epic graphics, and there was really a frame rate issue. So as I'm spinning around, and I can even see the frame rate issue now. So as it's having to redraw all those pixels. So one of the best improvements was reducing the overall resolution back to as close to full HD as I can. So that helped a little, but don't know. Not sure what the root cause problem actually is. So anyway, set the graphics back down a bit, and as you get lower and lower graphics, you see a lot of these pixelation things. I know light and stuff like that within a lot of game engines are really kind of dependent on how much horsepower is available and being used, and of course when you're setting on really low graphics, you don't have a lot of options there. So I think the blinky is really kind of about using resources, the number of light sources that can be active at a time, and all that sort of thing. So not sure, but I might just have to deal with it. The game runs really well. I've got another machine that I'm using, I should say unashamedly during my working hours. So my job is for sake of better description, an insurance policy. So if nothing is going wrong, then I don't actually have a job. Only when things go wrong do I have a job and I'm actually doing stuff. So on the plus side of that, okay, so I looking from below, I didn't see bridge lights. So okay, so that's all right. So anyway, I have a I'll call it a spare laptop. It was actually a laptop that I bought when my other one died. So that one went into the shop, and the new one, I had a heck of a time fighting with it, trying to get it working. I won't go into the details on how much I hate Windows 11. Windows 11 is extremely difficult to configure. It's extremely difficult to update the hardware on your machine, especially when it comes to, for anyone who works in the tech industry knows that probably 99% of the laptops out there are all using M2s or your solid state drives. Trying to upgrade the M2 drive to a larger drive is painful. So anyway, it was hours and hours, which stretched out into days and weeks, where there were a lot of problems. And part of them, well, I'm not wanting to get into a rant here, but part of them was because Microsoft decides that BIOS updates are now part of their update process, which has bricked 3 of my machines. So, for what that's worth. All right. Okay, so we are effectively in part 2 of the power stuff. So as you can see, we have a nice clear night sky out there. So what I really want to do here is put down right on this center line. We're going to use the center line as our guide. I want to put down solar panels. So we have Lumilight, I think it's called. Yes, Lumilight. So right click, build, and the placement of these guys, you can't really see the depth of these. So I'm going to use that line as a center line, and one of the things I've noticed is if you mass place these, inevitably every other one will not build because they're too close together. So even though you get the green thing indicating yes, I can build that, you won't actually be able to. So it's a matter of ripping every, and especially when it's every other one, you end up having to rip all of the ones aside from your foundation units to make it all work. So what I'm going to do here is just build 2 at a time. So my numbers were a bit arbitrary. So effectively what we have is 2 rows of 9. Why did I pick 9? Well, the short answer is your extender accepts 4 inputs outputs, right? So 3 panels into 1 means I've now combined the power output into a single line, run that into another extender, which means 3 sets of 3, which means 9. So that was kind of a pilot test to see how it would perform, and I discovered that I could run the electric engine with all 5 cylinders, basic cylinders, at 100% and still maintain a charge, and it would still charge slightly in good conditions, and keep me on my 6 kilowatt hours. So that was pretty nice. I really appreciated the fact that it all worked out. But it also meant I really don't need to go any further than that. Now, are there differentials in conditions? Absolutely. If you are, for example, doing a lot of scrapping, recycling, then you're going to have issues with the recycling because the recycler does take a lot of power. The fabricator takes a lot of power. So, with respect to those two devices, just making sure everything remains charged. It's just kind of an exercise in diligence to, if you're running low on battery, and that's a little subjective. To me, if I'm under, 66%, I'm low. So I never like to be without power, and that's probably a bit of bias on my part, having been on ships for 27 years, arguably. When you are on a ship at sea, you absolutely have to be self-sufficient, meaning you cannot have a total dead in the water power blackout, that kind of thing. That gets extremely dangerous extremely quickly. You can't just pick up a phone, dial 911, and hope that someone can help you. There may be other ships out there. They will absolutely come and help you, but it's going to take them time to get there. It's not like racing over the freeway or the Autobahn where you can travel at 300 kilometers an hour. We're a lot of times, I saw some of the speeds on this particular vessel and was thinking, wow, that's pretty impressive. But only speedboats and upper end warships are traveling at more than 30 knots an hour. So, it's most motor vessels are going to travel anywhere from 17 knots to 22 knots, 24 knots. Throttles all the way open, 24 knots. So that takes a little while. What's 24 knots? That's about 27, 28 miles an hour. For those of you who do the miles thing. So in terms of being on the ocean and being in distress, that's problematic, because somebody who is 100 nautical miles away from you, if you do the calculation there at 24 knots, so let's just pretend for a moment that I'm throttles wide open and I can achieve 24, 25 knots. At 100 nautical miles, that is 4 hours away. A lot of disaster can happen in 4 hours. So the Titanic lecture is the Titanic went down from initial iceberg strike to gone underwater in 2 hours. Okay, so if someone is truly 100 nautical miles away, that's a long ways away. If the disaster start to finish is 2 hours and they are 4 hours away. So anyway, what that really means, how that translates here into a game environment, probably doesn't realistically, but I wanted power. So I want to keep my batteries all the way up. It's one of the reasons why I think when I'm playing a game, I'm going to probably have 3 or 4 medium batteries, which I think is level 8. In fact, let's, I guess I'll paste this in, because that's about where I want it. And again, I'm going to do the first 2 here, and I'm facing the opposite directions, just for because I want the power plug, which you see here at the bottom left, out there. Okay, so Q to get rid of that. Why these are staying red is because I do not have the parts made for them. So what I want to do is go ahead and get them queued, and then as I build, then they will build. So that's the idea here, is that I can place them, they will build, I place the next two, they will build, place the next two. That way I'm not running into this problem where I'm literally not able to see, because as you can see here, these are 3D, so they're sitting on the deck, yes, but it's kind of hard to guesstimate as to where the next one will be without just, you know, taking a whole lot of room. So my method to the madness was, you know, go back and set everything up to queue all the parts, and then I paste these basically two at a time. Pardon me. All right, so let's go ahead and queue. So nautical terms of the day: center line. So center line is the center of the ship on the port aft, the bow stern line, which is, say, this is the bow up here, and the stern, of course, is behind me. So this is the center line of the ship relative to port and starboard. So equidistant from the port side to the starboard side is your center line. Midships, officially, if you take out your tape measure, is the distance from the very forward bow to the very stern. That is your midships, which is basically your center line except this distance across. So equidistant from bow to stern. Amidships also is more traditionally kind of the center activity area. So on a naval ship, we would call it the quarterdeck, which is somewhat of your access point, which would be somewhere around midships, even though it's not by the measurement the very center of the length of the ship. Okay, so there's your naval trivia of the day. Or maybe I should say maritime, because naval kind of suggests military. All right, so being back on shore power, one of the reasons I wanted to get onto shore power, I think I mentioned, was that these guys use a bit of electricity. So being into these guys, so you can see there's two that are sitting on the deck there. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to just say add all parts, and add all parts twice. Now, if I'm really paying attention to what's going on here, then I can do this 16 more times. I really wish there was a build 5 for this particular thing, or Q. I also would love to see, and maybe this will happen, if you paste, let's take the Whispers for example. I put 10 of those up on the deck. One of those, of course, I had to move, but well, and I guess that's really 3 I had to move because OCD, but really one would not build because of its placement, so I had to replace where it was. So the idea there was I had 10 of them up on the deck, all the numbers matched. It would be nice to be able to click one button, or, you know, go into a particular place where I could queue all needed parts, you know, kind of a queue everything parts, you know, so everything that's pending, one button, it throws everything in the queue. So the closest I can get is to go into here and do, I'm not sure why that's over there. Okay, so build 5. So that's kind of one of those, not sure why that is. It just seems like in the building now, how often do you build so many multiple things? So the theory, you could say the theory is, as we are gathering resources, we're kind of doing it on the fly. Therefore, are we going to build 20 things at a time? And the answer may be, for most people, no. for me OCD pack rat, where I am literally collecting and recycling everything that's not bolted down, then maybe that's, you know, a different situation. So maybe there's some practicality to it. I would love personally to see that button of, you know, add all pending parts to queue, and I would certainly appreciate that. Okay, so I got the two that are up there on the bridge. They're in fact too far away, which means I got all my parts here. So what we're going to do is go up, and those two should build. And then we can place the next two, and there we go. So we can see where those are, and now we can set the next two, and maybe I will try, you know, quite a few of them, and just pay much more attention. So I would love to see, I would love to see there be a lot of accuracy. So now that these are actually built, you can see where they turn red. When you are building in mass, then that check system doesn't really function properly. So let me paste. I despise the using of mouse buttons as a rotator. Utterly despise. I mean, you play, I want to say 98% of the games I play, the left mouse button is an interact of some kind. In this case, it would be the fabricate. So the fact that it's using mouse buttons to rotate when every other game is using left click to actually interact or do something, some action, is, I suppose we could say, creature of habit. So in my brain, I'm thinking click to paste, and it rotates, which is just annoying as shit. So anyway, now that I've somewhat recovered from that and got it mostly straight again, the rotation thing becomes exponentially more difficult if you are underway, by the way. Alright, so what I'm going to do is try to space these enough. I mean, technically I have really a bunch of room here on the deck. So maybe this will work out. Okay, so this should be number 4. I guess if I do have, in fact, a bit of a gap, it doesn't really matter. So this should be number 5. The idea is just to be able to see approximately where it is. So 6. Now there's a scuff mark there. Not really a centerline weld anymore, but there's a scuff mark, so I'm gonna use that mostly. Alright, and let's do our count. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. I'm not lined up. So there's 1, 2, 3. So that's the third one there. 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. So I need one more here. Too close. Trying to, find motion and not having success. All right, so that should be the 9. This is a bit of a, don't know how this is going to work out. but we'll try. So you see green, and clearly the wireframe here is underneath that one, which I don't think is what it should be. All right, so this should be 2. I can already see I'm not lined up between the two sides. 5. Six. 7. 8. And 9. Of course, OCD being OCD, that kind of thing tends to drive me a little nuts, but actually I can already see these are touching. I think though those two are too close. Those are definitely touching, so I messed up on most of these, looks like. So we know that one's going to come in there. So what I can do probably in most of these cases is just do a cancel and then repaste, because I think the ones to my left right now, which are starboard side, actually are good. So what I will do, so what I just have to do is rotate my my image here. So rotate. Another good argument for the grid system is this. That would fix this. Okay, so using ones on my left here as the guide, that is a paste. Be a little off, looks like. Close, but a bit weird. It's just so hard with these wireframes to actually really see clearly where everything is. Still not quite lined up. But I think we'll go with it as is. We're reasonably close. So, all right. So 18 minus 2, which are already done, leaves 16. So we should see counts of 16 below. So I'm hoping that's what we'll see. So we'll get all those parts queued. 16, yes indeed. All right, so what I'm going to do is we'll build 5, build 5, build 5, and then build 1. And do the same thing here. 5, 5, 5, and 1. Alright, so the theory here is as I build all of these parts, that I have enough for all of them. Then I pick up all the boxes, which is going to make me totally over encumbered, and then haul them forward. And then as I get close, they will auto build. And then at that point, I am down to the wiring, which should be pretty easy. What I'll do is paste, and then I'll have to grab some materials. In fact, I will go ahead and grab the materials just because. So I do have actually a bunch of materials in here already. More than I need. So let's go do some electrical planning. See, I'm already very encumbered here. So you have the ladder on one side and the stairs on the other. So, all right, we'll start over here. Let's go tab and build, and then we're now building our cable extenders. So build. So we're building every 3. So we want to go to the center one here, and just give ourselves a tiny bit of. So you can see this will paste green, because even though this is sitting here as the wireframe, it's not really there. All right, so I'm going to be pretty close to this, but I'm just kind of guesstimating a bit. So the idea is that I don't necessarily want cable to lay on top of the solar panel. I don't know if that matters or not, but you know, that's how it works in my brain. All right, so that's these 3, which means this is my next center of 3, and this will be my next center of 3, unless I missed that. I think I messed that up. Oh, yeah, I did, because this is, I already built that one. Alright, so I'm going to chop that one off. 2, 3, which means this. Rotate. Alright, and it is maybe challenging now. Yeah, okay, so let me come on. Alright, so those are the initial power, and clearly there's an issue here. I don't know if that's just too close, even though it was green. That one's the same. So probably there's everything there. And so to all you budding devs out there, what does a player need? He needs to know what's messed up and why. Okay, so paused. What does paused mean? It means absolutely nothing. Paused. I'm paused in drinking my coffee? What the hell does paused mean? What needs to be there is some indication of what's wrong. My guess is that this panel is too close to the other panels. It should say conflict with other panels, too close to other panels, too close to other objects, something. Tell us what's wrong, right? That's what's important. Why frustrate the hell out of your players? Because you really want your players to be happy with the game, pleased with the game. So paused tells us nothing, absolutely nothing. So let's fix that, please, devs. Let's fix that. All devs in all games, fix that. So obviously not just this game. That, as you can tell, I'm extremely frustrated about stupid crap like this because it happens so often. All right, let's see if we can actually build this light build. See if we can actually build this into this hole. So it's green, but won't build. Now it is saying waiting for solar cell. Not sure why that's waiting for a solar cell, because it may be proximity to, yeah, so let's check out that theory. Go down, and maybe we're just too far away, and try again. So that one built, so this one is probably a proximity issue. Maybe this bottom left corner. So Q for cancel. We'll go back into our build menu and try again. So right click, build. So it's green. So we're gonna try and launch that one. So yeah, apparently it was that one corner. Which is exactly why I tended to build 2 at a time and roll with it. So even though these are off and they drive my OCD nuts. Okay, so those 3 sets are now pretty good. Now I'm gonna stand here and then do an about face, and you'll see that one is really close. So that was by intention. So we would have everything close. So what I'm going to do is put this one. So we're going to go back into our build menu, get another cable extender out here, and we're going to do this build. And rather than strictly aligning them, which I guess I could, I'm actually going to offset this just slightly. That way I don't have my cables running directly into other cables. Cable management is a thing. Alright, let's go and do approximately the same thing on this side. So case, we already know this one is going to be just slightly offset here. So case, that's 1, 2, 3. That's this set of 3. Case, and then the final set of 3, which is this one. Q to cancel all that. Okay, everything is now built, so that is my 3 sets of 3 down each side, and now it's just a matter of plumbing it all together. So we'll go ahead and start with that. Connect, which will go on to that one. Connect, which will go on to that one. Connect, which will go on to that one. Now, interestingly enough, this one, because it's the farthest away, it's somewhat arbitrary, but I'm choosing to run this one over here and run to that one. So, no real reason to do that other than, hey, why not? Alright, so next set of 3 will go there to there. There to there. So we're basically, you know, really just kind of mirroring everything. And then this one now goes to this. Now the only other change I make, because this is solar panels, it's output only. So I'm very comfortable with setting this particular one, this junction, as an output only. Same with this. There's never going to be an opportunity. Now, if you remember in the earlier episode where I kind of messed up with setting the battery, because it was more the demonstration and I really should have been thinking this one through. No, I need these all balanced because I'm going to fill myself up there. In this case, there are no free ports on here, which means this, you know, part of an assembly here, so I don't really need to give myself that particular opportunity. So by the same token, this one, seriously, no more cable. Wow. Okay. I made a whole bunch, and see, I think I put all the spare cable. Yeah, the last spool of 100 cables there. There, and on the center one here, that one goes there, that one goes there, and one goes there. So that has connected all three sets on this side. We're going to change this to output only, and then this one can now comfortably connect onto this, which already has an output set. Alright, so this one is, of course, input only. So at this point, all of these are junctioning to here. So if we look, all of our solar panels have the green output only, which is exactly what we want. So you obviously can't have the ends of the cables like each other. And what I mean by that is, you notice that if I select one end as input, the other end will automatically change to output. Right? So you can't collide in the middle, as it were. So in this case, all the solar panels are green going out, which means the other end absolutely has to be input, which is true. And then all I've done is taken these junctions, which all of them are fully populated, these extenders, to the final output here. So this is the combined solar output here, which then goes to this, which is the intermediate for our direct. Here we still have equalize, and this one, when it connects, will default to equalize, which means I can charge on this, provided I have less power than the battery, the ship's battery. So we'll charge here for just a moment. And then we'll do the same on this side. You can already see how these will default to output only. Again, I'm gonna do this one first just because. So connect, I'm gonna wander behind this one, and then connect onto that one. And at the same time, I'm gonna do this one as the input, because that will force the other one as the default output, as we see here. So this is now combined, and then we do the next three. So that one should go there, to there, and then this one, which is the combine the junction to there. And we'll do the same thing here. We'll make sure that's set on input, which then forces this other end to output, which is exactly what we want. So this is our combiner for those 3 solar panels, which then combines the output to the input of this system combiner, if you will. And it goes from there. All right. Connect, 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 connect. One more connect. Complete the junction process. We can already see those are 3 green. And this switch goes into there. So all we need to do here is once again change that to an input. So that forces everything to be into this main junction for the port side. And then we do the connect onto here. We're going to change this to input, as that's the yellow, which means we are now fully junctioned in for all of our power. All right, I could maybe just pitch these back on. I'm not going to do the same frustrating process of, let's just do that. Because obviously these are going to, yeah, it's right with that one. Backwards, why not? Sure. All right. So, at this point, we'll do the final inspection of the ship here. We have our wind turbines port. Here's our wind turbines starboard. They are all connected in. We now have our solar port and starboard bow, which are 18 units total. So 9 and 9, which gives us actually quite a bit of power. Those are all junctioned in, ultimately going to the ship battery here. So this is on equalize, verifying, which means I can connect onto here easily or connect something else. When I manage to get batteries, then I don't know where those will go. I don't know if I will series them or in true naval tradition, being fully redundant and put them in different places. Don't know how I'm going to do that one yet. We'll figure all of that out as we go. Obviously, that's going to be a consideration, much more apropos to the early access version. So, okay, this is all working. Let's go ahead and do the ship check. So we've got our mooring lines down here. We have our shore power back here. That's correctly working now. So we have 2 and 2 for the turbines back here. There's not really enough room. Obviously, we could put solar, but not really enough room. I'd really like some maneuverability back here, so I think we'll just leave everything the way it is. And as I was explaining earlier, I think we really do have adequate power, and we'll demonstrate that once we get the ship underway. Okay, so everything is good there. Looking at the engine, I still need to build these 3 cylinders, so let's do that while the fabricator is working. This is another empty box there. If I wanted to go for the symmetry thing, I'd probably have another box there, which may happen. Not sure what's in there. Let's look at see what's in there. So that is a spare. So we'll go ahead and pitch that spare in there as well. Okay, fabricator. Let's go ahead and build those basic engine boosters. So we're going to do this 3 times because we need 3 cylinders. Now there are cylinders out there. So in some of the playthroughs that I've watched for some of the folks who got, shall I say, early access to the early access, they're finding these, and they're finding the medium ones. So let's go ahead. So tab skills, these here. So the engine booster. So I saw where there were 3 of those in just the first couple platforms. At this point, my diesel engine is off, and we're going to verify that it is off, but no need to burn diesel fuel if we have effectively an abundance of electric, which we do. Okay, so add all parts, add all parts, add all parts. Okay, and then because this is an item that's built in a queue, we do have that build find option, but we're really just build, and build. So those are our 3 normal engine cylinders, so basic engine cylinder for the electric engine, which will then mean we have that engine fully populated, at least at a basic level. When we were doing the berth shift, really in both directions, I got a little worried about the wind there. I was thinking that 2-cylinder electric engine really was not cutting it against the wind, and maybe that's part of the physics that is still left to be working. So how much proverbial horsepower do we really have with that basic electric engine? So we'll see. I've never had trouble, but I've always done the 5, so that's the first time I've ever tried to move the ship with only 2 cylinders on the electric engine. So even at 100%, full thrust, whatever it happened to be, it looked like it was 3 knots maybe. So that may be the case. All right, so we should have my 3 cylinders. I'm going to grab these one at a time because we're really close to the engine here. There's one. I kind of like the fact that you can throw these. Oh, all good. Not where I wanted that one, but carry them right in. Alright, so all green across the board. This engine is in fact on. If we look over here at our diesel engine, we're still off. So you find kind of the same thing. So one of the platforms had a booster cylinder that you could throw on. And then of course, as you go up in levels, you will end up with the ability to make basic and use your skill points to get the enhanced versions of all of that. So pretty straightforward stuff, but because I've got that turned off, I'm really not worried about only having the 2 cylinders. On the flip side of that is I got it if I need it. So as the military saying goes, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. I have it. Don't necessarily need it, so it's turned off. That way when I'm doing all of my maneuvering and all that sort of thing, I'm literally maneuvering on just the electric engine, which is all I need as long as I have a good battery power, which as you can see here we do. So we are at 100% of stored battery. So as we use it, we're really pulling entirely from shore power at this point. So once we disconnect from shore power, turn this off. Once we disconnect from shore power, then we're really going to be set for everything. So what I'm going to do is reorganize over here. So this should have been my iron and copper. Throw the copper in. I think we have enough room. Yes, we do. Not sure what is in that one. That was plastic. So let's go ahead and get the plastics up in there. What else? What else? What else? I kind of like keeping these other things. Let's go ahead and throw. There's not enough aluminum or glass there, so which may actually be in there. Yes, indeed. So we'll do the deposit similar J and move all of those items in there, which then leaves gold, polyurethane, and glass. Excuse me. So let's find the appropriate box for those. There's some of those. Deposit similar, which goes all the way, but not enough. But strangely, I had copper and... Alright, so let's do the deposit similar in there, which then got rid of all of those, which is exactly what I wanted to do. And probably can pull the plastic out of here and then do a deposit similar here as well. Almost all of it. Let's see. We don't have any room. Don't have any room. Alright, well, don't really want to... All the plastic is in there, I guess. Alright, well, 'tis what it is, as they say. Okay, so this is 6 on this side. How balanced are we? Not at all. So let's go ahead and just take all here. So that is 5 main ones over here, and we'll try and do some consolidating here and see what we need to do. Okay, so we'll throw the iron in here, which will run that one up a little bit. We'll go ahead and throw the aluminum in. Maybe, you know what, we should put the plastic in here. Put the others in, because plastic is a bit hard to come by. Oh yeah, wow. Okay, fill that one up. Let's see where this one is. We'll probably just stuff it all in here. Yeah. All right. So we're a little bit imbalanced with. So this is almost 6 versus 5. So, tiny bit imbalanced, but as they say, so be it. Alright, so engine room looks to be squared away. Let's go ahead and look at our quarters here, which should also be squared away. Yeah, so that's going to stay on the couch. Of course it will. And that one too. Nothing like pillows roaming around your cabin. Okay, so below decks, as this would be called, is all squared away. Let's go ahead and look first in here. I think my office here is also entirely squared away. Yep, not seeing anything there. Alright, so let's do a quick power up. We'll do a save, then we'll go up to the bridge and see what the bridge looks like. Pretty confident that's going to be alright. Save. Back up. Back up. Alright. And at this point, alright, so everything good there, got the chair in the front there, all that's good. 100%, which is good. I never actually anchored because I was on the mooring cables. But speaking of mooring cables, because my mooring cables are still across, we'll go ahead and take in our mooring cables. In. Grab cable. Alright, so we are free, drifting slightly. Yep. See the movement. Alright. All that's left is to pilot. Add some throttles, and we're going to leave the rudder amidships. until we clear the dock, and then we might actually drift off a little bit to starboard. Not that it matters. We're cruising right down the side of the dock here, which means we can. Not sure what that is. Oh, I do know what that is. Never released I forgot to release my shore power. So, did it finally? Yeah, I guess that really finally broke off, which is not entirely what I wanted to do, because I really didn't want to leave that cable there. All right, let's pilot again. We will back down here. So all back full. We'll get back just far enough. So boat physics here. Let's go to full stop. So normally when you're coming on like this, you're so there's 30% power forward, which should bring me reasonably to a stop. The idea is that you go to 0. So moving a boat is a little tricky because obviously you are moving through the water. Water is not a solid substance, so. So that was interesting. Not sure what is this stuff. All this stuff. All the broken stuff. So as we discussed in the previous episodes, if this were the early access version, not the demo, we would be sailing away. Is there the need ever to come back to here? I don't guess there is. Which means we would actually, well, one, we would not have been quite as extensive, especially with this particular electric thing over there. Now for collecting, it's a lot easier to string cable because then you don't have to go back very far to charge. So in a lot of my previous playthroughs, I have actually strung power over to the door and inside over to the elevator, and that's where I stop. I go down, do all of my grinding, run out of batteries, then come up and start the process over again. I charge at the top side. By that time I'm grinding everything, so it doesn't really matter. So at this point we would probably leave this facility without any power on the roof because I'll grind all those down for parts, take the batteries, which is to say the parts for the batteries. So the mediums, let's go ahead and look that. I think those have moved to level 8. Yeah, so tier requirement 8, that's level 8. So medium battery. Ironically enough, I can build all the parts needed for the medium battery. I just don't have it unlocked in terms of level. So unfortunately those are permanent items, which means you build them in place. I would love to have a medium battery that you can move around, and there is actually, I think, so this is a freshwater container. There was a medium battery, I thought there was. Here we go. So at level 11 is where you actually get to make the medium consumable battery, which is actually what I found topside. There's a bunch of them up there. And I don't think there's actually another battery. Is this methane tank? It's an oxygen tank. Yeah, I don't think there. Oh, there's a large consumable battery. So tier 15, but it's a consumable battery, so it's something you carry in your inventory. You can make the small cells level 3 is this. So this is where I've got those 6 of them that are actually on the ship. Got the diesel containers, so I can't make those. That's unlocked at 4. Petrol. So most everything you deal with the petrol side is happening at level 5, including your backpack battery. So you can actually charge from this, and you can leave yourself connected to it. I just think it would look a little awkward to have that cable. So the other side is this is a petrol tank that you can actually use on the, here we go, flame pistol. So I've seen a lot of the folks who've done the walkthroughs that actually use both of those simultaneously. So interesting. And then they have, of course, the small petrol generator. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of people are using this recycler that they build on the deck. So you've got small diesel container, which is available at the same time. You can do the diesel generator, which is to say the generator of diesel fuel. So let's see what other batteries. We got the medium battery here. I don't know if there is a large, like a station type battery somewhere. Dot sight, so that's one of the upgrades to your pistol. I really want to get this guy. So that's level 14, so that'll take a long while to get there. This is Petromax, so this is a much larger backpack for petrol. So I am not seeing grenade, oil tank, and again, I don't know how to generate oil, so maybe that's something you just find it like an oil derrick or something and just plug in and do it. I'm not sure. Quantum duplicator, and knowing what these particular things are, I'm sure that will come up in the future. How to use all of these different, infusion thingies, shells of some kind, rifle trim. So that was for a bolt rifle. Yep, this here, probably for that. Which is kind of interesting that or maybe that's this rifle trace. So maybe this is a lesser round that you can actually use in this. It just seems kind of strange that you can build the rifle but not the ammunition for it, so it's probably something up here. Optical sight, so that's kind of obviously something you put on a rail. Sniper rod, which I guess will be an augmented something there. So looks like the medium battery is in fact the best fixed emplacement battery that you can do. Reactor, water, carbon dioxide, and electricity. So ultimately generating methane and oxygen. This may be something you'll actually use on a platform where you can do something with it. Obviously these are upper game things. So this is your mega cell, so that's also level 15, so there's actually a couple things, the large battery, consumable battery, where you can make it, and then your mega cell, which is your backpack, which I presume is twice as large as the other one, which is this guy. So this is the Volt Plus, so you've got 3 versions of the backpack, the power backpack. So this one unlocks at level 5, this one down here unlocks at level 11, and then this one down here unlocks at level 15. So those are all going to be fun things to discover. Here's your super booster and your super booster. So ultimately these are the top tier engine cylinders. So once you get up to level 13, then you can replace all of your cylinders on both engines, and you will have the absolute best performance out of your boat that you possibly can. So Resource optimizer. See, I'm not sure what this guy is and how it actually functions. So I did watch Jack. He unlocked this, but never actually built it. So I don't know. I mean, it sounds really interesting. So robust, comprehensive improvement is ideal for critical fabrications with limited availability. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but there's something about resource use and everything. And I think there's the lesser version, voltage minimizer. So optimal for scenarios with abundant liquid resources but limited electricity. So that's kind of the same thing. I'm not sure what that means. So it does say fabrication production enhancer. So maybe that's something that you just bolt it down somewhere and it works. I don't know. Like an area of effect, something or other. Is that efficiency, strong general purpose efficiency boost across all resources? Yeah, so this may be the same thing. And I don't know, you just build that into, is that built on your ship? Where does that go? Is that a module that you put onto you? So I don't know. Those are going to be the fun things to discover. Diesel tank. I will of course have to build probably 2 of those. Yeah, because yeah. So that's the interesting thing. So we almost set sail today. But not quite. So we'll call it quits here, and I think we'll be headed into the last episode. So thank you all for watching. This is Kenji Tiger signing off, and we'll catch you next time.